The dam you see in front of us is a perfect example of how man harnessed water back in the early 1800s. The area is riddled with fractures that run northwest-southeast and northeast-southwest. Stewart Creek through this area follows the fracture, and as it goes down, it makes a left turn there, and then another left turn before it heads back north along the other side of Gregory Mill Park. It actually travels 1,170 feet and descends 6 feet in elevation. We've moved closer to Gregory Mill Dam so that you can see it up close. The dam is made out of large limestone rock and actually measures about 100 feet long, 12 feet high, and 4 feet thick. The purpose of this dam is twofold. It's to store water and deflect water. As you look over to the other side of the stream, behind the little rapids in the foreground, you can barely make out that the water is also moving away from us in the northeast direction. In 1800, Constantine Hardiman bought this property among many hundred acres around here from his father. His father owned it as a land grant from North Carolina. With the assistance of 7 to 12 slaves and 12 children, Mr. Hardiman was able to build this dam to divert this water down the fracture you see to the northeast, away from the stream that's behind me, Stewart Creek. Through the use of gates, he was able to deflect the water away from the spillway and into the fracture that moves to the northeast. It goes about 460 feet before it enters back into Stewart Creek. But 260 feet down is where the mill is, and it's there where Mr. Hardiman captured that water and used it to do work. The Hardiman Mill and Dam were one of 20 such businesses in Rutherford County at the time. Of those 20, only 2 of them were not directly on the water. Reedyville Dam and Hardiman Dam and Mills were away from the water, away from the stream itself, and required water to be deflected in different means to the mill. This is where Mr. Hardiman built his mill. It was a 2-story brick mill. The floor of it was right about here and sat above this sluway. The rocks you see around us helped funnel that water into the sloughs, which increased the velocity of that water. From the floor of the mill, an iron shaft came down to a horizontal wheel. As they called back then, it was a turbine, one of the very earlier turbines used. When the water came through and did its work, it turned that shaft, which was going up to the floor, which turned gears and other shafts and other belts, which were used to mill his grain and other people's grain. The mill was sold in 1860 to the Black family after Mr. Hardiman's death, and the Black family then sold it to the Gregorys in 1894. The Gregorys used it as a grain mill until the last few years when it was used as a broom factory, and it was finally closed down in 1917. This presentation has been brought to you by the Stones River Watershed Association. If you have any interest in kayaking, canoeing our streams, or the improvement and preservation of our water quality, please go to their website. Thank you very much.